Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, yeah. What's up, A. Ramsey? What's up, Han? What's up, Alex? Hello, Jeanette. Hey, Kevin. Hello, Simon. Hello, Christian. Hello, Bill. Hello, Randy. Hello, Chief Hightower. Hey, Carl. What's up, Long Range Crypto? B7 Oaks. Justin Dart. No BJ. Pot safe. Very important to keep your pot safe. Potato. S Sports 88. JC Crypto. Brad in the house. OD Caro. Hey guys, how's everybody tonight? Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is BigChonis. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I am BigChonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I am a crypto trader, a mentor, a chart psychologist, investor, photographer, chef. Guys, please do your own research real quick. I am enrolling open spots for September students, new students. I'd love to be a mentor to those who feel they could use my help for certain things about learning how to get into crypto, learning how to figure out how to trade in crypto, which best fits what's going on in your current situation. So if you guys have any interest in this, please DM me or send me an email, bigchonis@gmail.com. Okay, so let's get into some action here because Bitcoin has given us some action. So we're going to start on our daily chart here. Let me get a little cleaned up here. I've been working on the charts and talking about these through the day, and let's get a couple housekeeping things out of the order. We had a very nice daily close, okay, very bullish, okay, very big green candle. Lower wick was longer than our upper wick, you know, a little profit taking towards the end of the day there, but that would be expected for some kind of a nice bullish move. Now we are currently, well, let's recalculate that. So we got pretty tight here on our Bollingers here. And for 3 days, we were kind of playing around with our top BB here. And because we broke out, we've now kind of widened our bands here. Now, we did close outside our Bollinger on the daily here. And the last time we did that was actually here when we broke bearish through it. Now, note, we were pretty wide when that happened, and we're pretty tight when this happened here. We also spent just 1 day outside of the lower BB before we actually came in and found support. Broke bearish again, but now that basically held support. We wicked out a little out of it there, but basically the lower BB held support and allowed us to go to this action we see here once we're able to find support on our middle Bollinger. A test and then a potential breakthrough of our upper BB was what we were looking for, and we had it. Now we are right there finding resistance on our lower Bollinger Band. Now, our volume wasn't that bad, and we can kind of talk about what happened that last little bit, that last kind of, was it the, okay, so this is the last 30, no, this is the last 30 minutes. This is the last half hour of the day. We kind of trickled up through the day, you know, little breaks. This is our sort of 30-minute chart here. Every time we got a little tight on our BBs, we actually moved, got tight again, and then boom. We're still outside overbought on our 30-minute. We are outside over on our 1 hour, and I always refer to our 4 hour as to see areas where we break it for one candle, okay? And then by our second candle, it maybe takes a whole 4-hour cycle, but we do find our way back into our Bollinger Bands here. So right now we broke through it. We closed above, and we are currently outside of our upper Bollinger here. So we're going to see if we can get some of that bullish momentum to follow through, because if it does, because we're actually pretty tight here on our 4-hour BBs, we could actually stay above here and keep going bullish, even though I say when we're just outside it, normally it would only be for a candle, but because how tight we are here versus how we were here, we could get some leeway, which basically means we could go maybe an extra candle or two outside before we come in here. So we just started this. This is just a half hour into this candle here. Not much to read here. The volume, though, you know, we just started the day. So again, I'm not going to read into that, but we definitely see that this last 4-hour candle brought in some good volume, and we're definitely holding up for now. Now, what was the resistance that actually wicked us off right here at 69.49? Again, depends what exchange you're on, but I'm sure they're more or less in that area. Let's start adding our MAs and EMAs and see what kind of comes up. So we have, I'm going to bring up my my basic ones here. And so, I mean, how many times in the 4-hour chart have I brought up the MA200, our red line here, as an area I'm looking to touch, I mentioned it in this morning's video I put out on Twitter, and sure enough, like to the penny, right? That's where it found its very strong resistance. Okay, now we were looking for that initial touch and initial rejection, and that's actually where I had some price targets. And it's funny, I was being very conservative in these targets here, and if I had just circled this guy here, the 1786, this kind of nails the top, 69.2467, and we topped out at 69.46, so we would have filled that last one there at the 1786 1786 extension. What is this, the 1 hour? So let's take a look. Let's play the tape back, if you will. I'm kind of hide my Bollingers here. Kind of re-engage our auto, and we know that was a big candle of volume there, so we're just kind of hide that guy for now. And what we were looking for is what kind of an extension were we going to have here. Oh, that was on Bitstamp. That's why I was on Bitstamp. No, that was Mt. Gox. Definitely not Mt. Gox. There we go. Bitstamp. So what was that? That was... There we go. So we were looking for an extension, basically, of this wave here. And that's why I have my cells laddered up to these areas here, and we wicked out right here at the 1786 area. So that's very respectable, and it also kind of makes this a valid potential 5-weight cycle here, because we have our wave 1, we have our wave 2, which basically started or ended here, and then this was all 3, and now 3 gives us a larger than a 1-to-1 of wave 1, which we would expect on our wave 3. And now we're retracing, and as long as we retrace but hold really 67.31, as long as we don't get into that wave 1 territory there, we could then turn again and go bullish again and try and put some sort of an extension on this, which, well, let's map it out, I guess. Let's start from there. So we already know where we wicked off on 3. So what kind of an extension could we actually get if we have topped off here? And see, 3, 4. So 4 would have to go down to here, no lower. And then we'd have to go something at least a 1-to-1. No, actually, take that back. Somewhere around here, back to 7,002. An extended one could bring us up to about $7,200. So those are all definitely very bullish areas, definitely in play. Now, we did break out of our triangle here as well. We're holding above. This is our 1 hour. Let's go to a higher time frame. 4 hour, same deal. But again, listen, I've been watching the 200 MA. I've been expecting it to be major support, and there it is. Remember, we hit it by the penny on Coinbase. We wicked out on it on Bitstamp. That's why you always want to ladder your sells or your buys, because every account is off by a couple bucks here and there, depending upon where you're setting your buys and your sells. It does vary from exchange to exchange. I have a sip here. So that's what we saw. That's what we looked at. Let's look at some other indicators here. All right, so we have our stochastics. Again, I'm on the 4 hour here, and we're watching this area here. We definitely, this is our bull break. We're getting a little resistance in our 80 area. This is where we top off here. Remember, we do an 80-20 in our stoke. Interesting that we actually found support here at 20. I do like to see that. So we're tight here, and there's actually some nice momentum in there. This is our parallel on our 4 hour. We've been tracking for several days now. We broke through our middle resistance there, and this is where we want to go. We want to touch the top again. So look where we're finding our resistance on the 4 hour. Let me hide my things here, and we're getting back to that 70 area, and we always talk about our 70 area and our about a 30 area as major areas of support and resistance on our RSI at varying time frames. And once again, we're finding resistance there. We are curving slightly. Let me arc this out for just a moment here. Oh, it's this one here. Yeah, curve. Oh, that's right. I always forget that. I always forget that. But yeah, let's just do this, and let's just do this. And the reason I'm doing this, Fury, because I'm looking for the situation where we're just putting in kind of a descending arc here where we're finding, we're topping off, something like that. Yeah, let me get rid of that guy there, get rid of that guy there, and then I'm going to pull this just a little like that, pull that in. Actually, that has to come to there and there. So I'm seeing this kind of roll over here, which can be broken through if we get up there, and that would negate that. But I'll be curious to see if we're setting in some sort of an arcing line of resistance, although I'm not too funky about how this is working right now. Maybe something like that. I don't know. We'll put that one on the back burner. How's that sound? All right, look at our OBV, and nice crawl up in our OBV there. And actually, so the 4 hour, so are we going to see here resistance? So we want to see if there's any kind of divergence, subversion here. Let's see. Again, we use our OBV to find divergences in our price action. And I'm very comfortable to see this nicely rising with our price action. So that's good. Oh, now this is interesting. So again, on a 4 hour, we're talking about how much of another hump we can put here. And we've actually extended this. But let me go to a higher time frame and see if our stochastic... Yeah, see, okay, so remember, we've been watching this on the daily chart here. And we've been looking for this mountain to build, right, and hit some resistance right here. Okay, now we're seeing if this plays out, which is basically a bearish histogram because we come to our apex in our negative area here. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on as well. Okay, so let's do a couple things here. I want to go short term, and I want to just check to see what kind of consolidation we are doing here. Remember, we are overbought in some short term. Let's see. Okay, so we're resetting our RSI. Remember, our 5 minute hit 90. Okay, now it's down to 70. So that's good. That's cooled off quite a bit in the past 35 minutes. We topped out on the 15 minute at 84, and we're at 73. And we're also back inside our Bollinger Band here on our 15 minutes. So we wicked out here. We're coming back in. Okay, you don't buy into this. Okay, you got to wait for this to cool off. Let's look at our hour chart here. Wow, we're still way above our Bollinger. The Bollinger ends right here at 68.48, and we are at 68.81. So we are still way above on our hourly, which is kind of a high time frame here. Our stochastic is still pointed bullish, and our hourly RSI, oh, interesting. Did hit that right there to the T, didn't it? So that's interesting here. Okay, so again, I stick to my same thesis that the 4 hour MA200, which we've been watching, which I've been commenting on in my videos for a week now, we finally hit it, and we're hitting that strong resistance that I was looking for. And this is going to be tough to break. So what are we looking for? What are we looking for? We're looking for our green line here, which was resistance. We wicked out on it here. We broke bullish. Okay, step one, let's find some supports in areas that used to be resistance. So holding above this green line would be cool. Okay, it would allow the Bollingers to widen. Remember, we want these to widen. That will give it can give the price action more kind of breathing room. You know, it can push the upper resistance to a higher area here. So that's very important. So these are things that we want to have happen, and it's healthy for consolidation here. We're watching our volume, okay, because we went pretty bullish quickly there. Okay, it's encouraging not to see a big sell-off here. Okay, this remains bullish, overbought, but now we're going back in. Okay, we're pulling our EMAs up. Remember, this is our bullish fan out I was talking about earlier, where we fan out our MAs and EMAs. This can go both ways, all right, but right now we broke bullish, so we're going bullish. Gonna hide our Bollingers here. Okay, so what this means is that these will act as supports when we come down. It also brings them higher up. So every time we test supports, it's at a higher low. It's bullish. These are all very positive signs. Oh, interesting. We're also testing our MA100 on our daily chart. Heck yeah, we are. So our MA100, we touched it on our Bitstamp, and we hit that pretty hard, and we wicked out there, and that's very interesting. So this is our major resistance, and because this is our first test of our major resistance right here, see, resistance, resistance, we broke it, came back down, held support for a day, two maybe, and then it's been major resistance ever since. So resistance, resistance, okay, give it a few, and then if we can break it, then again we talk about our MA200 on our higher time frame, which is our daily chart, and we see here how we were resisting it here and here, here and here, pretty much equal spacing, which puts the price potentially as high as $7,400 to $7,600. Is that possible? Well, let's look at what we want to take a look here. I keep bringing up this guy. This is our CME futures, and I'm going to hide our volume for just a moment. Volume, volume, volume. And we see our gap is still opened up here. We wicked here, so 72.82. So 72.82, I still feel in the price action has to be filled for the chart to be complete, because currently this is our only gap. Did we create a new one here? Right there. Maybe there's a little one right there at 66, but we can definitely come down and touch that. Yeah, it looks like there's a gap right there at 666.4. But this is still our big one here. So this can take us up to 62-ish intraday, and we can wick out there and fill the gap and satisfy the chart, because every gap hence has been filled. Let's go back to Bitcoin, and I want to look on a higher time frame. Let's look at our weekly chart. And this was from class from earlier. And so what are we hitting here? What are we hitting on resistance on our weekly chart? Well, look at that. We just wicked out at our EMA 12, one of my favorite EMAs I like to use in my charting and trading. And we see that it had acted as nice support here. We broke bearish. It acted as resistance here. We broke really bearish. And once again, we're butting up against it, trying to break through, setting other targets ahead. Our 55 EMA at 71 change. And then our EMA 26 at 75 and falling. So once we go here, okay, now this is encouraging to see this basically being touched. The question is, do we get the volume and the market sentiment to push through, or have we hit a major resistance zone here? And first touch on certain things become major resistance. Okay, we kind of hug it in this area here, and we can try again. Let's look at our Bollinger Bands and see where they relate to our weekly, and we see our middle BB at 7,300 here and falling. So that's going to be our major next resistance area on a higher time frame if we can keep cracking bullish. 7,400 and falling. So that's where we're converging now. Very tight resistances on a higher time frame now, we've confirmed, that bring us to somewhere between 72. Now remember, that also corresponds with this area here. That we were in for several days as holding as kind of price support and resistance before we actually had our last push higher there. That would also equal a lower high if we actually found major resistance here. Now, I do want to bring up this interesting sloped angle here. Let me go, obviously erase these here. Give me 1 minute here. There we go. Got to erase. I was going fib crazy earlier. Because I like to see interesting patterns that hold precedent. And I'm going to go just candle body to candle body. And look at that. Look how beautiful that touches there. Love to see that. So we hit resistance on this plane of resistance. And we're crawling up there again. Now this currently is somewhere around $7,100 or so. but we could get there in a couple of days, and that gets us more closer to around 7K. So I'd be curious to see if this plane of resistance acts as some kind of major resistance, and I want to test that with a parallel, which will use this same plane, and let's right there, and let's come down and see if we see anything interesting. And I'm coming to right here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that there. I like that. I'm going to pull us higher here. And, ooh, I like that a lot. Okay, so, and I'm going to make this is ugly. Let's do that. And what we're seeing here, I'm going to do one more thing. Let's make our center line solid as a rock. And good. Okay, so what we're seeing here is resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support. And yeah, another sign that we're pointing to this area here, about 7K, as our bullish last test of this plane of resistance. We've come full cycle down. We flirted with our middle channel, we broke through it, and that's kind of where we could target. But remember, it could take some time to get there with consolidation from our little bullish pop. I'll give it a decent bullish pop here. But how decent was it? What kind of money flow actually came into the market? Let's take a look. 24-hour volume for $1 billion. On Bitcoin, that's better than yesterday at 3.3 billion. So that's a lot more money came in. What, $800 million? I think Tether helped with that. Right. Market cap 224 overall in crypto. So we're definitely holding above our $100 million area. And that continues to be very encouraging to kind of keep it here. But every step up, okay, we want to watch our shorts to see how they are reacting. So right now we are liquidating still. Interesting. So this is interesting. Okay, so we popped bullish, and shorty is not currently buying into this yet. This was basically where we broke. We came back, test, couldn't come up there, and this is where we broke bearish. And on our daily, it looks like we could be testing our 55 as support, because our 12 held for a little bit, but that did not hold forever there, and we broke bearish. So that's interesting. We're going to have to keep a look onto that. And then our wideness of our Bollingers is telling me we got some consolidation here, because we were very frothy. Although we are resetting on our Stoch, aren't we? And we definitely cooled off a lot on our RSI. Be interesting to see how this one this day ends up here, because we could hit here and find support. We haven't back tested our support line there. It's interesting. I want to see a back test there and a rejection before I can officially call it long. But look at this. Look what's going on with our longs now. Our longs are also selling off. So they're taking some profit. Taking a decent amount of profit, actually, in this move. That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. So longs are not really very psyched about this either. They're taking some money off the table here too. So that's interesting. Kind of a mutual deflation there. But it's all about our price action here. Now, this is another angle of our parallel, and it's the same thing. Very similarities here, converging in this area of resistance around 7K one more time if we can break through our MA 100. And that's going to be very interesting to see, because right now it's actually acting as very strong resistance. A bunch of alts popped yesterday for sure. Let's see here. I'm looking for follow-up for today. ZRX had a nice day yesterday. Nice day. Ooh, full Maribuzu there. Let's see. Ethereum Classic. Oh, this is Coinbase. That's funny. That's why it's so interesting. We finally opened up our first Bollinger Day on our Coinbase chart. Oh, pop the champagne, something to celebrate. Long road to hoe on that one. So yeah, we're just looking for this support to hold. So these are encouraging signs here. We're finding the short-term resistance, but a lot of people's targets are met. A lot of people's breakout targets have been met here. Let's do a couple more fibs, and then I'm going to call it a show because I've been talking all day. Let's see. So we've passed that. We know where that line is. We'll keep an eye on that. And this is long since forgotten. But let's just play what if, and we're just kind of close out some of our indicators here and just get the chart nice and clean. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's just play a little Elliot here, right? Let's go. Let's see here. Let's get crazy. Let's get crazy. Okay, so where we bought him? We bought him here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We held a higher low there. So 3, 4, 5. Just figuring this out here. 2 would have to be here. 3 would have to be here. We started there, we went bullish there, so 4 and then 5. So we're looking at it. Yeah, it's possible. It's ugly. It's a truncated 5. And if that was the case, then what was 3 was less than a 1-to-1. Actually, no, so it doesn't make any sense at all. All right, so let's scrap that. So that must have been an A, B, C, and then the 5. Interesting. So let's go in for a closer look here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is kind of what we're looking for here. So it was 5A, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're gonna do it this way. So it'll be 1. Oh, come on. And then, no, that can't be right because then that's 3 is going to there. So that's not right. So we got to do 1, 2. Huh, maybe 5 is still going. That was lower than that. Yeah, that there. No, that doesn't work either. So maybe this is still 3. Okay, so let's do it like this then. That's what we got. We got 1, 2, and this is probably still 3. This could definitely be still 3. Now if this is, because we put the higher, yeah, this is ugly, man. This is just a weird, and 4, because then 4 can't go lower than that there. Yeah, this is still a funky pattern here. So I'm going to just screw the other way for now and just focus on what we're breaking out of here and our next area of wick support. Now remember, we're still in this rising wedge pattern here, okay? Even though we broke bullish here, so if I go that way, okay, then I'm like, all right, so we've broken bullish, but can we do like a devil's advocate on this and just by using this wick? I mean, I just want to give every opportunity the benefit of the doubt here to make a sense of what we see here, because then we could wick out to this point here. But no, I mean, it's again, this is still, I'm trying to find bearish signs here and they're just not there. I mean, this is very substantial that we broke bullish from this. You know, this has been a very tight area of resistance rising for 2 weeks, and this is important. You know, I just want to see the volume continuation here, and this is decent. You know, I mean, it's crappy comparably speaking, but this move here clearly pretty much takes our inverse head and shoulders kind of out of the picture here. I mean, even if our inverse head and shoulders, our regular head and shoulders, out of the picture here. We really wanted to hold no more than this neckline here, closed above it. So that one's just completely scrapped here. And now we're just looking at our next areas of resistance, which kind of is our areas of major price history. So that's this cluster here. right? And that basically brings us from here where we are now to $7,200. That's it. And that hits this resistance line here and here. So $7,200 is where we bullishly need to hit next. And that corresponds with breaking out of major resistance areas, yet still respecting the laws of Bollinger. And because we're outside or right on the ledge on the daily, we can ride this up. We can be riding this bullish, kind of similar to what we did here. We have precedent for that. And as we do that, our MAs and EMAs are going to come higher up and they're going to hold us up. We'll do a TD here, just a quick TD to close out the show. We're on a green 6 in the daily. Okay, now 6s can be reversal patterns, reversal candles. But for now, this says we could have another 2 more days, 3 more days after today to keep it going stronger. It's definitely possible. Okay, a little lower time frame here. We'll do a 12-hour. Ooh, we're on an 8, excuse me, on a 12-hour here. So we've got to keep an eye on that. Last time we got to a 7 before we finish that. We'll do a 6-hour. We're on a green 5, and I'll only go down to a 4-hour because anything less is just not worth it. We're on a 4. So I'm keeping an eye on that, especially our 12-hour here. We have maybe another 12 hours of bullishness on the 12-hour before we bleed up a little bit or we bleed out. But our 6 on our daily is interesting. We have found reversal candles on the 6. We did it here when we had a green 6 that broke bearish for 3 days. Again, we have a green 6 here, but we can hold our support in this area, let our Bollingers and our EMAs give them a chance to come up, come catch up, okay, because we fanned out. We can keep this going here, keep this continuing. But be safe, because every time we break bullish, profits are taken. And it's just a risky market to keep this going long. So congratulations to those who have kept keeping these longs here. Our longer candles, I mean, we're putting in some much more volatile candles we have recently, long wicks and long bodies. So definitely a lot of price action in the days here, very tradable action here, and this is what we like to see. But with volatility comes volatility. Volatility breeds more volatility here. So we're very tight on our BB, so we can sustain a little bit more of a bullish move here, but we're still very overbought on lower time frames. And our width outside of our 4-hour, again, let's see if we can stick to our 1 candle. Because we're so close, I'd give it a little bit more, maybe another candle or so, but right now we're overbought on our 4-hour. I'd keep an eye on this to get back in, retest lower supports before we move higher. Whew. All right, guys, I'm done for the day. I am spent. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Help me out with some likes. Thank you for your time tonight. Remember, you guys, to find me on Twitter. I am at BigChonis. Guys, if you're interested in my mentoring through September, I am scheduling the first week and pretty soon the second week of September. Please DM me or email me BigChonis@gmail.com for more information. Until then, guys, stay safe. I'll update you guys tomorrow on what I see on the Bitcoin price action and what have you. Interesting times these are. We got the NASDAQ, we got the S&P breaking through all-time highs. Rich people have more money. Maybe they'll throw some Bitcoins away. We'll talk to you soon.